What's up? It's Becky the Pink Fashionista, and I'm back with another video. This is my introduction to my smoking class that I joined on Wednesday afternoons. The topic of today's is triggers. In this video, you can see a lot more than you could in my last video. My smoking assistant Tim is speaking in the video and talking about triggers, putting a graph up on the board that we are working on. This is kind of what it looks like. You will see it in the video. It talks about the different kinds of triggers. There's behavioral triggers, social triggers, chemical triggers, emotional triggers, and psychological triggers for smoking. Okay? And they each have a little abbreviation, BE, SO, CA, which I don't get, and then emotional, and of course physical. And triggers, cravings, urge, and compulsion. There's different forms. On the TAMI cards, I also write down the urges I have, the times of the day I urge, blah, blah, blah. But this is triggers and what triggers each different person to smoke. There's triggers for every addiction. Every addiction has a trigger, so smoking is an addiction, obviously. There's triggers to smoking. What I need to do this week before my new group Wednesday is come up with what triggers me to smoke and when, and fill in the app information on this sheet here. Down there on the bottom, it says clean and wean. That is his motto for the week. Get clean and then wean off the smokes. High chews, I wrote, because high chews are what I use to quit smoking, along with this to get me to calm down. It just says straw that I use to blow my CO2, blah, 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 in the class. He wants me to carry it around and use it again for my oral fixation, or my finger fixation, whatever it is, to go back and forth to my mouth. I'm supposed to use this straw. See how well that goes. Oh, shit. Sorry. Oh my god. Give me a minute. I gotta pull myself together here. What the? Butt cheeks. Sorry, my shit wouldn't even pause. But this is High Chews. This is the strawberry pack. This is the best pack that they have. I also buy the cherry and the green apple when I can find it. They have many, many other fruit flavors. The main thing in this is yogurt. They are very chewy. They are very yummy. And I love them. The bomb. But anyway, back to triggers. This is going to keep me from smoking as many cigarettes as I normally do. I always have them in my purse. I've been using them for months. They do help. When you high chew, you don't smoke as much. It's a definitely fact. So you might want to go run out and get some high chews. They also have berries and cherry flavors. They have sour flavors. They have soda fizz flavors, but those are all nasty. This is mine. Green apple or cherry or strawberry are the only way to go, if you ask me. And I'm Becky the Pink Fashionista, so of course you're going to ask me. So before I go blah, 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 I wanted to just give you a little rundown on these worksheets that I got. This is just the Beauchamps, whatever that means, of the triggers, social triggers. Make us aware that we are familiar, social situations that make us think and notice about smoking, like other people that we smoke around, where I hang out. If they're all smoking cigarettes, it's going to obviously make me want to light up. That's a social trigger, okay? So, I don't know. Let me see. Chemical triggers are something because our body is so used to having the nicotine in it that our body like makes us anxious or sweaty or panting, just like if we were on some type of opiate and we were having an addiction. It kind of is like that. It's definitely not as bad. You're not going to get sick and vomit and have diarrhea, but you will feel some type of anxiety and like that. If you really need a cigarette and you don't have that nicotine in your body, that is the chemical trigger. You know your body's fiending for it. And you know the difference between craving and wanting to smoke. Blah, blah, blah. Not being able to focus. That's kind of a chemical thing. I can't focus until I get my cigarettes. Blah. I know I do that a lot. I be yelling, where's my shit? It's not funny. It's seriously a problem. I have an addiction and I'm trying to deal with it. Emotional triggers are something in our brain that sends off endorphins that make us feel better. When we're anxious or when we're sad or when we're mad, we smoke a cigarette. The endorphins get released from the brain and we feel better emotionally. That's emotional. When I'm crying and I'm upset, I need a cigarette, obviously, right? When I'm mad or when I'm angry, I want a cigarette, obviously, right? That is easy to understand. Emotional urges to smoke cigarettes is a big one. Big one. The psychological triggers is the biggest one. They call it the 5-headed beast, and this is the 5th head on the beast because it's the biggest problem of them all. The psychological triggers. That's like something being, if I'm overwhelmed because everybody around me is smoking, and I know it's bad for me, and I know I've already quit smoking, but yeah, everybody else is doing it, so why don't I do it? It's just like peer pressure, kind of. That's kind of what I get out of psychological triggers, but I might be wrong. Like, you know it's bad for you, it can cause cancer, but you still do it. Like, the good, the bad, and the evil, something like that. That's a psychological way of having a trigger from smoking cigarettes. Nicotine is bad, people. Let's get it together. I tell myself that every day, but yet I still light up 20 times a day. What is the problem? Psychological problems. That's the problem. And behavioral triggers doesn't even come into play on this paper. It only says 4 of them because behavioral triggers is what I do to smoke. What's my behaviors when I smoke? Like, when I go get my coffee in the morning, I immediately have a cigarette with my coffee. That's a behavioral trigger. So he doesn't need to explain that on the paper, obviously. We all know our own behaviors of smoking. After sex, you automatically want a cigarette. As soon as you wake up in the morning, I used to never smoke in the morning, and then all of a sudden I started smoking in the morning. You haven't even brushed your teeth, your breath is kicking, your mouth is dry, and you light up a cigarette. It's fucking nasty. That's another reason why I know I need to quit, because I used to never smoke before noon, and now I smoke the minute I roll out of bed. It's not healthy. It's a behavioral trigger because I think right in my head, oh, I'm up, I gotta smoke. I'm up, I gotta smoke. But really, no, I don't. I don't gotta smoke at all. So let me roll this information on triggers, and I'm a holla. I'm Becky the Pink Fashionista. Quitters win, people. And I'm trying to be a winner by quitting. Holla. Please subscribe to my channel. Tell all your friends. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm always doing something new, people. You gotta stay tuned to figure out what it's gonna be about. Holla.
Becky, here's my version of your worksheet that you got there.
Okay, so this is the want. Yep, okay, my wants.
Yep. And this is why we want. And you know, this works for heroin, this works for alcohol, this works for binge spending, this works for it started off as a thing for smoking, and now it turns out that it works for all kinds of other stuff too.
Okay.
But real quickly, there are, and I know we reviewed this in the office the other day when we met. There are behavioral, BE in the first circle.
Okay.
There are behavioral triggers that make me want to use. Coffee cup, steering wheel, telephone, pool stick, after dinner, after sex. Things I do make me want to smoke because I smoke when I do those things. I was talking to a guy at the rehab the other day, and he was helping me understand how seeing an ATM could put him into a 2-day state of being triggered. So he's sitting there, he sees an ATM as he's walking down the street. He said, the damn thing whistles at me. It's like it's flirting with me. And I realized he was speaking figuratively. He says, but I see that damn thing, he says, and I know in 2 days I'm gonna get an electronic deposit in my account.
Yep.
I'm gonna be able to take my card, and he leans forward and gets up on a little bit on tippy toes. He says, I'm gonna be able to swipe that card, get some cash, and I know I can buy some crack. And I know.
Yep, and that's how it goes. One thing and the other triggers.
So by. For him, a trigger. For us, for you, a trigger is pouring a cup of coffee, right? Because for years you pour coffee, you light a cigarette, peanut butter, jelly. They just go together. And this guy helped me understand that he walked around for 2 days in a mental state of triggered just because, and then the gerbil gets on the wheel. I'm gonna get paid, I'm gonna get high, I'm gonna get paid, I'm gonna get high, I'm gonna get paid, I'm gonna go see that ATM, I'm gonna make love to that bitch, I'm gonna get something. You know, and for him, like I was thinking, like being triggered for 2 days. Wow.
Waiting for that money, right? Waiting.
And you know, and so triggers are things that happen before or while we use. They're things we do. But I really appreciated him helping me because crack was never a thing for me. So I didn't quite get how the triggers work, and I really never thought about being in a triggered state for 2 days in a row. He said he's like not able to focus at work. He's just gerbils on the wheel.
Panic attacks. No.
Yeah, it's like obsessive, right? Obsessive thought. You know, if they guess if I what's the EM? What do you suppose the EM stands for? Women are more likely to guess that correctly than men.
Oh, okay.
You got a sign?
Thursday night pool hall, buddy. How about you and I start hanging out at the movie theater or go for a bike ride, right? We can do things differently. And we can escape the behavioral and social triggers. We need medical help probably from our docs to figure out how to manage comfortably the nicotine withdrawal process. And that's different for different people. But here, we're on our own. We've got to learn new coping skills. When I'm angry, when I'm anxious, when I'm bored, when I'm depressed, when I'm hopeless, what do I do now? That takes time and practice. And then the last head of the dragon, the cycle function. Sometimes Becky says, I smoked it anyway. Right? Yeah, pick me, Monty. Yeah, that's this is the toughest head of the dragon by far. Why would it be okay for Gene to not protect Gene from Gene? Right? If it's not okay for Gene to hurt you, how come it's okay for you to hurt you? And the fact of the matter is, I think we all agree it's not okay. Sometimes we just do it anyway. And our willingness to do that anyway, right? Our willingness to self-destruct or our unwillingness to self-preserve, that's really the $64,000 question. How do I
took a picture of it.
How do I see me differently so I can treat me differently? And that really is that's what it boils down to, really, is seeing ourselves differently so we'll treat ourselves differently. So that's the 5-headed monster.